Hello, I'm Chrissy Seaton and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video is a response to a question I had from a viewer, and it was in relation to the love and the fear of God. How do the two go together? So that is the details we'll look at today. Now, in the description box below, I'm going to place some links whereby you can go and look up some information for yourself and read some further information. But today we are primarily looking at the topic of know, love and fear God from the point of view of a Gentile, a Noahide, God-fearer. So let's get on and discuss this now. Now, our purpose is to know God, and along with that knowledge of God, we come to love God. Now, when those two things, knowledge and love, are combined, that is when the element of fear comes in, and we'll discuss this as we go on. Now, understanding the magnificence and the dimensions of God. And I mean, these two words don't even fully describe the God, the one and only God, Hashem. But our purpose is to understand that magnificence and the full dimensions of God. And that leads us to love and fear God. So knowledge is the first step. And all of us, in one way or another, regardless of what faith we belong to or what age we are or what education we have all heard about God. And each individual in their own way has some sort of a relationship, either a scarce and very small relationship, or they have a very long, devoted and loving relationship with God. So let's talk a little bit further about that. Now, we need to know how to serve God. So we need to know how to love and fear God, and as is appropriate for Gentiles. I'm addressing Gentiles, Noahides, etc. here. So let's look at the first thing that I find of great interest in the Torah. And this is contained in the book of Deuteronomy, and it's chapter 4, and it is verse 39. Now, I'm going to read this, and also the commentary that goes with it from my Torah here. So I have a comprehensive commentary to go with that. So here we go. We're at chapter 4, and it's verse 39, and it reads, "You shall know this day and take to your heart that Hashem, He is the God. In heaven above and on the earth below, there is none other." So there's a clear and definitive statement that says there's one true God and what we have to do. So now let's take a look at the breakdown of the commentary. And the commentary for verse 39 says, "And take to your heart." Now that means meditate intensely upon it. The teachers of Musa dwell on the human reality that there are many things that people know intellectually, but do not take to their heart. I'm going to come back to that. I want you to hold that thought. So it says that there are many things that people know intellectually but do not take to their heart, in the sense that this knowledge controls their behavior. This is perhaps most pronounced in health habits, where people insist in doing things that they enjoy even though they know them to be harmful. The same holds true for many people of faith who are remiss in their performances of some commandments because they lack sufficient emotional commitment. Thus Moses exhorted the people that even though they know that there is only one God, they must find ways to take it to heart uncompromisingly. So those of you at home who have a Torah or a Bible, look this up for yourself and ponder over those words. It's so important. So that's chapter 4 of Deuteronomy, verse 39. Now, it says that distinctly that what we know intellectually, we do not always take into our heart. So I say that is what we call spiritually translating something. So what we know intellectually, we need to now translate into a spirituality of a oneness between Hashem and ourselves, Hashem and me. So just hold on to that thought. Spiritually translate that knowledge. Now we're going to read another part that is also very interesting in the book of Deuteronomy, and this comes under chapter 10, and it's verse 12. And I will read that verse to you and then read the commentary. So here we go. God's reconciliation is the subheading. Now, O Israel, what does Hashem your God ask of you? Only to fear Hashem your God, to go in all his ways and to love him, and to serve Hashem your God with all your heart and with all your soul. And it goes on to, verse 13 says, to observe the commandments of Hashem and his decrees, which I command to you today for your benefit. Now remember here, he gave 10 commandments to the Jews at Sinai, and also at the same time he reinforced the 7 commandments given to the 7th was given to Noah when he exited the ark, but there were 7 original commandments given for all mankind. So and 10 for the Jews at Sinai, and those 7 previous were reinforced and for the Gentiles, for all mankind. So just I've done videos on that topic, so just bear that in mind. Now, so let's take a look at verse 12. Verse 12, beg your pardon. And the subheading was God's reconciliation. So I'm going to pick up here. It says there are 2 levels of God-fearing. The higher of the 2 is a sense of awe and reverence. And this is what Moses called for here. Now, intellectually, it is easy to recognize that people should feel this way towards God. But it is hard for ordinary people to achieve it. So keep that thought. The second and the lower 2 of this 2 is the visceral fear of punishment. That is the fear referred to below, where Moses recalled the destruction wrought upon Dathan and Abiram. Now, even though God owns the whole universe, he desired only you and your ancestors. Alternatively, the God who has the whole universe at his disposal derives no personal benefit from your service. Rather, he gave you the commandments only for your benefits. Now, this is something that we often overlook. Why? God gave us these commandments, 10 to the Jews, 7 to the Gentiles. Was he giving us an instruction guide? To a point. Was he doing that because he wanted to wave a big stick and say, you will do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc.? Or did he give us these because he loved us? He desired for us to have a manageable framework whereby we could live a wholesome and loving and spiritual life, not only with our God, but with those around us, our family, our nation, international relationships, etc. So now we're coming to this conundrum of why, we know God and we love him, but what's the fear bit about? Well, here we have to stop and think that he has given us all this. He has given us, both the Jews and the Gentiles, commandments that we must live by. And they are for not only the benefit of us, but certainly for the benefit of the rest of mankind. So how we follow and abide by those 7 commandments, the Gentiles, will dictate how God views us. So are we going to recognize when we make an error and ask for forgiveness? Oh, I'm fearful I've offended God. I may have broken one of his commandments. And remember, these 7 commandments are categories. So there's a lot, each commandment has some other categories that explanations and guidelines that go with it. So what we are coming to understand now is when we come across the word fear, that fear is the result of us knowing God and loving him as our divine Father, our merciful Father who provides us with everything. And therefore, like an obedient child, we're fearful of upsetting him. We don't want to make him disappointed in us. If we overlook something or we're unkind to someone, we quickly want to say to our loving Father, I'm sorry, I made an error, I wasn't thinking straight, or whatever the case may be. So this is where it comes in. The simple version is you know about God, you gain knowledge about God. Why he gave us commandments, 10 for the Jews, 7 for the Gentiles. He loved us. He had to give us some guidelines. He couldn't just create the earth and throw a bucket of humans on it and say, here, there you go, fight for yourself, but love me. Well, how would we have known if he hadn't have given us guidelines to follow? So just ponder on that. Read those couple of verses I suggested, and I'll write those in the description box. But give that thought, and the main thing I want to say is that the Torah knowledge appropriate for Gentiles. Now that requires us to do some research and comprehension. Read the Bible, read Genesis, read the 5 books of Moses, the Torah. And there are lots of things in there that pertain to all people, not just the Jews, but to Gentiles as well. So it's relevant. And I've done some videos on what is most relevant for us to learn first. If you look back through my playlist, you'll find those videos. So we're looking at the comprehension, the understanding of the comprehension and the translation of that comprehension into a spiritual relationship with Hashem, with his greatness, his 7 commandments appropriate for us, and the blessings of his 7 mitzvahs. So each of those commandments has blessings. If we follow them, there are rewards and blessings for us to enjoy. So it's only then, really, that our human hearts and minds, as we understand them, begin to love him and fear him in the sense that I've described just before, in a genuine and spiritual relationship. It's a one-to-one relationship. Do you know, Hashem is aware of everything 24/7 that we're up to, that we're doing or not doing, whatever the case may be. And I say many times in my videos, you cannot hide under the bed from Hashem. He knows exactly where you are and what you are doing at any given time. Sobering thought, isn't it? And you may understand certain things in an intellectual manner, that there has to be a God. There has to be someone that is in control. But what we have to do is have knowledge, and that love develops, and that translates into that spiritual connection, that one-to-one connection with our loving Father. So take to heart what I'm saying. Please understand that all that the Torah contains, God's commandments for the Noahides, are for our benefit. Those 7 golden rules. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. I will get back to you when I can. But in the meantime, remember what I said. Translate that knowledge into a spiritual relationship with God. Please take care, and God bless you.